In the last few episodes I've been getting some new frames into the boat, and after a whole lot of fairing it's finally time to finish up the Ringtimber. The piece is rotten and I need to make a new one, but first I need to take a pattern of the old piece so I can then transcribe it to my slab of white oak. I recently had a shipment of lumber arrive at the yard. Red cedar for planking and a slab of white oak to be turned into the new Ringtimber. Alright, so next up now is this Ringtimber here. This is an old piece of white oak, might be original, I suspect it is. It's one of the last pieces I have left here, so I'm gonna make a pattern of this, and once I've got my pattern I'm gonna take out a chunk that will give me better access to the frame that is sitting in here, which I'm cutting out and replacing with this new frame stock I have ready. And then once I got that frame in here, I can remove this and bend the new one in. So I'm gonna start off by milling up some door skin, and then I'll get a pattern on here, and that will be my template for my new Ringtimber. And I'm gonna do my best now not to hit my fingernail, because it's just about growing back since I hammered it right off. And then I got my little smaller pieces here. Just gotta figure out how to place these. Let's see. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger than it has to be, just because I can always fare it down. So now I'm just marking out where this thing should kind of roughly be. Right, the pattern is done. Can now take this off. One last nail, like that. All right, and then here I have my template. Now with this made, I'm gonna put this to the side, and then next up I'm going to cut a hole right here in the Ringtimber, and then I'm going to start extracting this aftmost port side frame. I'm gonna leave this Ringtimber as much as possible sitting here before I send this new frame in, so I can fasten down all the planking before I remove this big structural piece here. All right, so let's start off by removing this stuff here and then see if we can extract this frame. I'm gonna go get a better tool. There we go. All right, so this frame is going. It's sprung up, which, yeah, it's a bit rotten. All the fasteners are pretty much gone. I can feel there's a big hole underneath here. So I'm gonna do the same like I did with the other ones. I'm gonna take this off roughly about up here somewhere, just past these stringers, so I can kind of clamp it in behind here and then send a sister in there. So I'm probably gonna have to cut off some of this door skin here, this ugly old door skin that someone put in. Probably redo this whole thing. So I'm gonna get a little access port, but first I'm gonna just slice off this right here. Oh yeah, that's looking tired. Really tired. Makes me wonder what this stuff looks like. It actually feels better. That's surprisingly tough, which tells me that this frame might actually be fairly good further up here. So I'm a bit worried this stock isn't gonna bend well. There's some grain ran out going on here. But it's what I have, so we're gonna give it a shot. All right, and I'm gonna send this into the steam box. Okay, so while that frame is steaming, I am going to make my ring timber. So here I have a massive slab of nice boat grade white oak, and this is what I'm gonna make my ring timber out of. It looks like I measured out the width of this pretty much perfectly. That is just about enough what I need. Now I just gotta secure this to my oak. Alright, now I just need a stick to lay as my batten here so I can draw my lines. At this point I was about 8 months in working on the North Star project as a videographer. I was getting a bit more comfortable around the tools by now, and with the work I'd done on the boat I was actually gaining a little bit of experience. But this was the biggest piece I've made this far, and a big mistake would cost me hundreds of dollars. So the stakes were still high. I was using kiln-dried white oak for this ring timber, something that I'm a bit skeptical about now that I have a bit more experience. The information seems to be divided, but I have heard that kiln drying can lower the rot resistance of wood. By drying the wood too fast, you risk bursting the actual cells that makes up the wood, making it more prone to drawing in moisture and later on rot. If you have experience drying wood, I would love to hear it in the comments. Alright, here is my transcribed pattern. Now I'm gonna chop this off and then plane it down and then cut it out. And I'm gonna take this to the bandsaw. Alright, this is gonna be a pretty tricky piece to solo cut. White oak is really heavy, and yeah, a heavy piece of lumber on a bevel like this, it's gonna be a bit of a trick. If you're enjoying this episode, I would highly appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting and sharing this episode. Growing on YouTube is really hard, and it's really thanks to all of your support that this channel is slowly making its way out there, so thank you so much. Alright, it's rough cut, so now I just need to plane this down a little bit, get it all fair, bit of sanding, and once that's done I just gotta plane this down to 1.5 inches, and it's pretty much done to be steamed and put in the boat. So let's get planing. With the ring timber made, it was time to make some of the smaller pieces left in the transom. Alright, next up I'm gonna make these cheeks here, and they'll go down here and notch into the frames, and they'll join up the cheeks that are running along the keelson. So I picked up some wood, and yeah, I'm just gonna draw this out and make a new piece. Cheeks. They need a little bit of final shaping before they go in place, because the new frames are a bit different, and there's another frame that's going to go in here. So I'm going to leave these as they are, and then we'll get back to them at a later stage. Now, next I need to make 2 of these floors, and these go on top of the frames, and then the plywood will sit on top of that, and then my septic tank will sit on top of the plywood. So I'm gonna go find some wood and then make a couple new ones. Here I got some yellow cedar. Quite a few knots in this, but it doesn't really matter for what I'm making here. I'm just gonna find a way to avoid as many as possible. I think like that is the way. All right, back to the boat. With the cheeks and the floors done, it was time to take a look at the last frame in the stern. All right, so last frame going into the stern, and I'm here with Aladino from Sailing Magic Carpet that's gonna help me clamp this down. We're gonna go ahead and just pull this out of the steam box and send it in.
Exciting. Ooh, I'm nervous.
Yeah, me too. We'll see how this works. I'm a bit curious about the grain in this piece, so
hopefully it's gonna be a great success.
Here we go. Looks pretty steaming. All right, and then we send it down there, and then we start by clamping.
Yep.
Right there. Perfect.
Oh, it's cracking.
Okay, let's flip it around. Okay, let's try that.
Let's have this perpendicular. Oh, it's pulling up the plank. Not. Hold on, a bit of lever. Oh, that one's cracking too.
Really?
Yeah.
So, as I suspected, the grain is not great on this piece. All right, yeah, we need to, here, if you loosen that.
Yeah.
Let's get that one there.
Oh.
No, it's gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. Darn.
Well,
that's
that
a
didn't
bummer.
work.
Well, it's right where it has to accept such a high degree.
Yeah.
A high degree of bend.
Yeah, this locust wasn't the greatest. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to
do the
mill
prep
myself
again.
a new piece. Well, at least it shows the importance of
Of the grain.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always work.
All right, well,
Valiant effort.
Try
Keep
again.
at it. Yeah.
all right. So my Ringtimber offcut happens to be pretty much exactly the right size to get a new frame out of it. And I know it's perfectly clear, straight grain. So I'm just gonna cut these ends off, figure out the grain orientation, and then make my new frame stock. And then these will likely be turned into sister frames. So no waste there. All right, so as you can see, the grain is going this way, which means I'm going to bend my frame like this. So now I'm just gonna measure out my stock and get it to size. All right, we're back for round 2, and I got the white oak steaming. We got Aladino back here to help me clamp. And yeah, I guess we'll give it another try here.
Round 2, or are you counting like round 12?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I got him.
All right, so fingers crossed this is good and steamed. All good. I marked it, so this goes in keel. Okay, and then on that, clamp it. Let's get it. And then next clamp right there.
Yep. Just for now, I'll remove this one. Are you ready? Should I put it right there?
Oh, what was that?
Oh, yeah, it cracked a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, let's just keep going. If you clamp, so clamp it right, like here.
Okay. Okay.
And get that real hard. Yeah, fuck, it's so bendy.
Yeah, I'll add
Maybe
one.
one, yeah,
Yeah,
one there.
right close.
Hopefully that helps. This might be a bunk. God, fuck. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that didn't work.
Are we inducing too much stress right at this point? But how would you do it otherwise? fuck. Oh, that sucks.
It's a lot of failed frames.
Ugh.
Thank you for the help now.
No, of course. Anytime.
Break some more frames. I'll figure out a way to get the ring timber on anyways and then just kind of bend it back out, I guess. With 2 failed attempts at getting new frames into the boat, I decided to leave it for now and move on to finishing up the ring timber. Alright, so because of the size of this ring timber here, we gotta use the big boy steamer that we built for the North Star build. So I'm gonna fire this up and we'll get this in here. Now comes the big moment. Will a 9-foot long massive slab of white oak actually bend? Wood cools fast and I just had to run about 100 feet down the yard to the boat. Alright, so after all of this work, I think I deserve to move the needle just a little bit forward. 1%? Is that fair? Let's do 1%. So, what are we at now? 2% done? Could that be accurate? Just gotta do this for another half decade and we might be back in the water. Now, as always, if you want to help support this project, then check out the Patreon. There you get early access to videos, behind the scenes content, and a whole bunch of other goodies. A huge thanks to all of you that have become Patreons lately. And if you want to support the boat directly with things like lumber and fasteners, there is a GoFundMe down below. All donations go straight into getting this boat back into the water and making sure that you have more work to watch. Now I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.